Right, so are we ready for the next act?
I want more enthusiasm than that. I said, are we ready for the next act? Well, welcome to the stage, the wonderful Ian Peskett!
Good evening. I suppose you're wondering why I gathered you all here. I wanted to talk to you about my favourite subject, which is me, of course. Now, I've not always been the respectable, presentable man that you see before you today. Many of my jokes will reflect that. Some of them may be deemed unpalatable. Viewer discretion is advised. It's been a weird day, man. I opened my bin this morning and a wasp flew out. I was mortified. I mean, what kind of sick fucker throws a wasp in the bin? I came downtown. While I was walking through the square there, I thought I spied my doppelganger and I went bounding over, ready to introduce myself to this handsome fella. Got there, it weren't even him. It was just some bloke who looked like him. And bam, jackpot. I chanced upon a bowl full of money, scooped it up, went on my way, then some bloke with a guitar started chasing me. I thought, it's too much for me, man. I need to go home. I need to calm down. I thought, I'll treat myself to something nice to eat. One of my friends told me recently that, you know, if you want to know whether pasta's done or not, you throw it at a wall. You know this? Fucking lasagna ruined. So allow me to introduce myself. I should have probably started with that, shouldn't I? My set's a bit like a Tarantino movie. It starts at the middle and works its way around, eventually to a point, much like how Eightful Eight didn't. So my name is Ian Peskett. Not a lot of people know that. I mean, growing up's hard, isn't it? Yeah? That's why we never did it. It's made it even harder having an unusual surname. I got a lot of shit from the kids at school for my name. It was unreal. I'd be walking down the corridors, I'd hear chants like, pet shit. It's not very nice, is it? Yeah, I thought it was funny. I get biscuit. It's a bit more friendly, a bit more acceptable. Piss tech. That's my gym teacher. He had a point. And knobhead. Some of the less imaginative members of my class not wanting to miss out on the fun. Growing up without my dad about as well, that weren't easy. And no one to give me the talk. You know, the birds and the bees. I used to hear people talking about it, but I didn't know what they're on about. I thought, well, I need some information. Where am I going to find it? So I had a little ponder. I thought birds, bees, nature. Cool. So I went out and had a little look. And I see how bees operate in the wild. And I see a worker bee taking pollen from one plant to another, pollinating it and helping to reproduce. I thought, well, how's that apply? That's like me running around the street with a handful of my own jizz, throwing it at people like multiple migs out of Silence of the Lambs. That shit's going to get me nicked again. I thought, that can't be right, man. I had a closer look at the inner workings of a hive and I see a female, a queen. She'd take on 100, maybe 1,000 lovers in a lifespan, give birth to maybe 10,000 offspring. I thought, I know some families like that on my estate. It's all starting to make sense to me now. So I'm 36 now. No, that's a lie. I'm 39. I wrote this bit when I was 36. It's like I'm desperately trying to cling on to my youth, but not misguided enough to believe I could pass for 20-odd. So I'm 34 now. And I never thought I'd live this long. I had a midlife crisis at 14. And getting with a girl off my age at that point weren't appealing, so I went out and got a really big skateboard. I grew up in a tin pot town in the middle of nowhere. It used to be a one-horse town, but the locals melted it down for glue to sniff. Whatever gets you through the day. They even had a tin pot to keep it in. That was handy, wasn't it? I was out one day on my skateboard, knocking kids and buses flying, when I had a sobering thought after the glue wore off. I thought, I don't know anybody who's left this town and not been on a Group 4 bus. That's not good, man. I'm doomed to go to prison. I'm too pretty for prison. Don't look at me like that. And it was about that time I found drugs, because glue weren't cutting it anymore. Any heroin users in? Yeah. Fuck my jokes up. It's always the quiet ones. Edit him out, won't you? We'll test your piss later, you know that. But you know, like drugs, like they're demonised every day in the media, this war on drugs. But I learned a lot from taking drugs. I mean, cannabis was brilliant. It taught me about delayed gratification. I remember sitting there, blazing away, basking in this sense of achievement and getting a real self-esteem boost just thinking about all the good shit I'm going to do tomorrow. And ketamine was great. I had some mind-expanding moments, secrets of the universe unlocked and presented to me on a plate. Also taught me about diligent record keeping, because I couldn't remember none of the fucker when it wore off. Cocaine taught me how to do fuck all, but really fast. Half productivity overnight, that shit did. And heroin taught me about determination, grit, and steel. Steel, I had to do that a lot, because that shit's expensive. So I found myself in prison, and if you listen to these Daily Mail readers, they're going to tell you, prison's too good for them, they get 3 meals a day and a TV in the cell. And that's all well and good, but the food shit is fuck all on. And you go through the monotony of prison and you get out and you want to change your ways, you want to better yourself, but people keep trying to drag you back into it, man, dragging you back into that lifestyle. Keep coming out with that same question. Well, what were you in for? What were you in for? And I got tired of it. So I just give them all the same answer now, killing the last nosy cunt that asked me that. What really baffles them at that point is not the threat of immediate physical violence. It's them trying to figure out I've been sent down for a crime I've not yet committed. Some minorities, I can tell I lost a few of there, didn't I? So you'll get it about 3 a.m. I'll give you my number, you can text me an LOL. Fucking hell, is it coming via Skype? You're on mute. I'm not one to blow my own trumpet, but I'm fucking awesome on the tambourine. Maybe the best there ever was. But I'm not a very practical man, but I'm still cashing in on one of my achievements from last year. After a month of toil, hard work, dedication, I finally finished baby-proofing my flat. Did it on a budget, it's worked out quite nice. What I've done is I've covered the bottom half of all my furniture in barbed wire, and now none of my friends want to bring the noisy fucking kids around. There's the laughter of identification. Shortly after that, me and my partner broke up. I think she got tired of ripping her legs open on the beanbag. I've been with this girl for a few years, and it started off great, after the first date, she was dyslexic, and she sent me a message asking me what I wanted to do on the first date, and when I met up with her, she had a sick duck in her arms. It's first run out. That won't get a revisit then. But we used to share everything in the start. It was great. I remember one day, she developed a cold sore, and it was like, well, fuck it, I'm going to kiss her anyway. And we called it his and her piece. But I've been with her a few years, and it just started to go downhill. She was a big fan of tech speech, and that does my head in at the best of times. And it got worse when she started screaming OMG in bed. It could have been worse. Lol. And so it became apparent that we needed to have, the talk. It's not you, it's me. I'm just fucking sick of you. But I didn't want to do that face to face because she was prone to violence, and I thought it's a bit callous of me to do it via text. So then what am I left with? And I've been doing a course at work about effective communication methods. I thought, okay, how can I use this? So I consulted my textbook and had a little call with my tutor and decided to break up with her by smoke signal. I set fire to her car. I think she got the message. But, putting the onus back on me, it's like, I think I know the real reason why we broke up. It was like, I was very insecure, sexually. I was very hung up on my size. I probably asked her 2-3 times a week, am I big enough, am I big enough? And just once it would have been nice if she'd said yes. But I've done a lot of reflection over this stuff and realised that pretty much all insecurity is based in fear, and most fear lies to you. And I'm thinking, well, none of the girls that I'd ever slept with had said that I got a small cock or that I was shit in bed. And I thought, am I just making this stuff up? I'm like, well, I need the information outside of me. I need to get it from source. But it's a bit inappropriate of me going around with a clipboard in my hand to all my exes going, bing bong, mind if I ask you a few questions? Well, I can't do that. I still owe most of them money. So I thought, well, what can I do instead then? So I take to the internet, and I decided to open a TripAdvisor account. And every time I sleep with a girl, I send her a link and she can leave me a review. I've got a few of them for you. So Debbie from Baseford said, are they supposed to be that shape? 2 stars. Yes, Debbie, or at least one of them is. Michelle from Arnold said, his lack of skill was almost compensated by his sheer exuberance. 3 stars. That's right, isn't it? Has potential, doesn't apply. That's my school report. What the fuck's that doing in there? Sarah from Bulwell said simply, no. 1 star. And Becky from Cartland said, not as big as it smells. 2 stars. So, I mean, that didn't leave me in a very nice place, as you can imagine. I ended up going into counselling, and after a lot of intense sessions, I finally got a diagnosis. I'm an insomniac kleptomaniac with coprophilic tendencies. Now, what that means is, I got tired of taking other people's shit. It wasn't an easy joke to write because I can't spell. But, it just wasn't working out for me, and I'd had enough, the breakup and the reviews, and it was all just really getting to me. I thought, sod this, I'm going to end it. I've had enough. But being the responsible man that I am, I decided to write a will. And I left everything that I owned to a local cat's home. About $5,000 in debt, because fuck cats. I've lost my transition. I've lost it. It's in there somewhere. It's rattling around in the back. But, I mean, that didn't garner any real results, evidently. So I turned to the bottle for solace. And I remember a time when I used to be able to go out and drink safely. I used to be able to go out to a bar, have 2, maybe 3 drinks, leave there at a reasonable hour, 10:30, 11 at night, go home, get myself something nice to eat on the way, get in, initiate disappointing sex with my partner, sleep it off, wake up, shake off the headache with 2 paracetamol and go to work like none of it ever happened. But it just started getting out of hand. Those days came to an end, and it just ended up with me. Every time I went out, it ended with me in the cells praying that the blood on my shirt was mine and the shit on my shoes wasn't. And I was reckless in those times, it's true, but people used to respect me. They used to call me Sir. Sir, can you come down from there, please? Sir, we're going to have to ask you to leave. Get in the car, please, sir. Explains the shape. But, I still go out to bars from time to time, get something to eat. And when I was in one recently, and I went up to the bar and I said, have you got any Coke? And he said, is Pepsi okay? And I nearly drowned trying to snort a line of that shit. He gave me a straw. What more did he expect? And it was shortly after one of these incidences where some fuckwit had blown up a load of people. And the news was on, and I heard a disembodied voice in the corner shout, yeah, they should bomb all Muslims, that'll sort them out, completely missing the irony of his own statement. I said, you know what, there's a big difference between Islamists and extremists. And he said, and I quote, fuck off, you Muslim-loving pedo cunt. And it was reassuring for me to hear that. It was, because I didn't know that before then. I didn't know that I was a Muslim-loving pedo cunt. I mean, how embarrassing would it have been for me to find out later? Relief. But, I like to challenge these injustices as they arise. And I said to him, why don't you go and learn something? And he says, well, why don't you come and teach me? So I did. I ran off, leaving with a valuable lesson. Life's full of disappointments, mate. I'm trying to bring you in for a soft landing now. I realise I may have scarred a few of you. And so if you have been affected by any of the issues discussed at tonight's show, then please tell someone else, because I've got shit to do. I'd like to leave you on a more positive note for me. Leave you with a message of hope, humility, compassion. I was at work the other day and one of my colleagues said to me, we've got 2 ears and 1 mouth. Maybe that means we should listen more and talk less. Profound. I said, yeah, that's an interesting point, Colin, but means you've got 2 legs and 1 head, maybe you should think less and fuck off. Good night.
Ian Prescott! Now that's how you do a main share.